But it's time to get into the awards section of the show, and we're going to dive in at the deep end with the MVP conversation. We're just doing a top three today. From 3 to 1, BJ, not from 1 to 3, from 3 to 1, if you may please. But Scott, you can start us off with your top 3 MVP candidates.
Well, I might create a little stir here today because we had this conversation, was it a week or two ago?
Yep.
About 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
My top 3 are the same, but the order is a little bit different.
Okay.
So I had to move Shea down to number 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, we're going all the way to the finish line. I know he's been out a little bit here as of late, so that has slowed his momentum down just a touch for me. Doesn't detract from what he's accomplished this year, but I'm gonna put him at 3. And you know what I'm gonna put at 2? I'm gonna put Nikola Jokic now at 2. I can't believe I said it. Now I think he's gonna win it. I do think he's gonna win it, but for me, I'm gonna put him at number 2 right now. And I got to give credit where credit's due. Our friend is down there, you know, riding high with the women's Hawkeyes right now. Luka Doncic, man, is still in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's winning. See, and he's a game or 2 out of the 4th spot. So you get one of those top 4 spots for me, and given what he's done from a historical standpoint with his numbers, I'm going to give Luka Doncic his first MVP. So
I like it. So
I kicked it off.
For me, if you want my order, last time we did this, all the Dallas fans got mad at me because I didn't even have Luka in the top 3 because they were 8th or 9th last time we did this. Now they're 5th. They're 2 games behind 4th. Mm-hmm. If the Mavericks can get to 4th in the West, Luka Doncic wins MVP for me. Mm-hmm. If you don't have home court advantage in the first round, unless there are extenuating circumstances like the year where Jokic won without Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr., I understand. The Mavericks they've had injury problems. They've been a bit healthier though. But you have to have home court. You've got to be a top 4 seed to win MVP, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So if Dallas gets top 4, I'm giving it to Luka. If not, I'm giving it to Shea, and then I'll slot the Joker in. You can fit whichever order you want. I think the reason why I have Shea over Jokic right now is because OKC have lost the last 3 games, I think, but he's not been there. Yes. He's not been available. Right. So I can't put the loss on him, for not being there. And also, the Nuggets have lost a couple games late in the season here where Jokic has played and Jamal Murray hasn't been there. And that's really where, I know no one really criticizes Jokic ever, but that's really where an MVP is supposed to step up and lead their team, not just have the excuse of, Jamal Murray's not there. That's why Denver lost. Because they've had a couple matchups where I've watched, in recent weeks, especially that 2-point loss against the Clippers. I was really looking at that like, come on, Joker. It's almost postseason time. They lost to the Timberwolves as well, who are also at the top of the standings with them. So that's why I'm giving the edge to Shea. But it depends on where Luka finishes because the numbers he's putting up are insane.
When Luka did that step through underhand shot from the free throw line,
unbelievable.
That turned it around for me.
Unbelievable.
That was letting you know, hey, now this is an MVP shot. Who's going to do this in the game?
Yep. Mr. Armstrong, your top 3, starting at 3, please.
Well, I can't argue with the order and who you guys have. So I think the order, and that's Shea. But I don't want to discredit what this young man has done. I mean, this young man has, I think they're currently now in 2nd place or 3rd place in the conference, and they've done that all year. So I want to make sure that I don't just overlook his excellence and what he's been able to do, the leader of the team. So even though he's 3, I just think it's just a 3-man race right now. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Listen, Luka, I have to give them credit because they are winning and they're performing. And over the years, I'm sure I know Mo is definitely tired of Luka. Well, we do talk about Luka because we all love him. We all love his talent. However, we're just watching them really they've made some moves, and you got to give their front office credit. Give them moves. They've made some moves. You know, that was a very bold move when they got Kyrie, what they gave up. And when it's all said and done, the smoke cleared, they look like they're doing something. So I want to give their front office credit. J Kidd has hung in there down there, and both Scott and I, we love J Kidd down there as well,
Yeah,
and give them credit. And then so Luka is right there at number two for me. Okay, but Luka is on the heels of Jokic. I mean, the Joker right now, it's a real fight. I think this is a real fight right now. I think it probably, if you looked at it from the media's perspective, it's probably a two-man race. But I want to keep Shea in there. And the reason is because they've gone above and beyond. They were in the play-in to suddenly they're one game out of first place. I mean, wow. And he's the leader of that. So I don't want to discredit that and just take his excellence as like, oh, well, and just say, you know, I expected this, because I didn't expect it. So, but I have the Joker still there, number one. But I'm going to tell you what, at any given moment, this thing could change. This is a very close race now.
It's going to go to the wire.
I agree, it's close.
Yeah, I think it's a very close. And listen, Luka is there, and Luka is right in the race, and I think it's going to be fascinating, and it could come down to the last week of the season or so on who's going to win this thing. But I think it's for sure, Mo. The MVP will be in Europe.
Europe or Canada.
But Mo, I think you make a very valid point too. If Luka somehow gets his team to the fourth slot, that may sway some of the voters as well too. I know this is our vote here right now, but when you're talking about who will actually win it, they get to that fourth seed, that could change the minds of a few in a very close race and give him his first MVP.